Now, this video has surfaced showing the Indian Army teaching the Chinese PLA a lesson. Now, that was the voice of a Chinese soldier crying out after being captured by the Indian Army as he illegally strayed inside Indian territory. We can see 2 to 3 Indian troops surrounding the Chinese soldier. His hands are tied behind the back. His feet are tied as well so that he cannot escape. By the look on his face and disheveled appearance, it seems the Chinese soldier has been roughed up as he was captured and carried away by the Indian soldiers. Just beside him, we can see 3 other Indian soldiers talking to another Chinese, trying to get information from him as to why the PLA strayed inside Indian territory. This PLA soldier has not been roughed up, though he is being thoroughly searched for weapons and surveillance equipment. The video shows another Chinese soldier with his hands tied behind his back being escorted by 2 Indian troops back to base camp. Inconnectnews cannot independently verify the video, while the Indian Army has not released an official statement. However, the terrain of the video suggests it was taken in the northeast along the India-China border in Arunachal Pradesh. The clothing suggests it was taken in summer months rather than winters. Social media users claim the incident occurred in 2020, the same year as the Galwan Valley clashes in Ladakh. The reason behind the Chinese soldiers straying inside Indian territory is unknown, though probably it was for surveillance purposes in order to spy on forward Indian posts, security infrastructure and troop deployment. Little did PLA anticipate that the Indian Army is 2 steps ahead as it captured the Chinese intruders red-handed and took them back to base camp. While the fate of the Chinese troops is unknown, they would have been handed over back to their seniors in the PLA after a serious warning. After all, they were not prisoners of war, so protocol dictates they be handed back. What's impressive, however, is the restraint and determination shown by Indian soldiers who had the Chinese at their mercy but decided to spare their lives. India-China tensions exploded after the Galwan Valley clashes in Ladakh some 3,000 kilometers away, which resulted in casualties on both sides after fierce hand-to-hand combat where soldiers used rods, stones and barbed wire to attack each other. After 4 years, tensions finally eased after bilateral talks between Prime Minister Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping in Russia on the sidelines of the BRICS summit last month. Meanwhile, Indian Army is gearing up for a 5th straight winter of forward deployment at the LAC in Ladakh despite diplomatic breakthrough. In recent video, the Indian Army was seen constructing new bunkers on top of mountains near the LAC, with the Indian troops pulling heavy air defense guns and small artillery by hand at a height of over 17,000 feet. It's an absolutely remarkable video and shows nothing is out of reach for the Indian Army and that it now remains fully prepared for any Chinese misadventures. On ground, the trust deficit and tensions continue to run high, with China occupying Aksai Chin as well as laying claim to the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. Until and unless the 2 sides formally resolve the border issue, China will remain the gravest threat to India's territorial sovereignty despite any diplomatic breakthroughs. Meanwhile, after the LAC disengagement, the first patrols are taking place. The armies of both neighbors have agreed to conduct weekly coordinated patrols in Depsang Plains and Demchok regions, which were the last 2 friction points at the LAC in Ladakh. In each area, 1 patrol will be carried out by Indian troops and another patrol will be carried out by Chinese troops, while the beginning of November saw the first coordinated patrol take place. Both sides will also continue to hold commander-level engagements involving brigadiers in Demchok and Depsang to ensure sustained communication and to refine patrolling protocols crucial for any long-lasting resolution of this conflict. The next step will be ensuring dialogue over remaining buffer zones which had been created in 2020 in areas such as Galwan Valley, north and south banks of the Pangong Tso, Gogra and Hot Springs. Now the buffer zones are being removed and regular patrolling taking place. Recent reports suggest the Indian Army will deploy nearly 50,000 troops right through the winter in Ladakh, where temperatures can plummet from -30 to -50 degrees Celsius to ensure India is never again caught off guard by deceptive PLA tactics. Have your say, can India ever trust China? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.